and welcome. Tonight, Nigerians groan as price of premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, rises beyond 600 naira per litre. NNPC Limited attributes increase to market forces. NLC rejects the proposed cash palliative for fuel subsidy removal, describes it as robbing the poor to pay the rich. Federal government to review cash transfer policy. The president vows resolve by ECOWAS to raise the funds needed to fight terrorism and other forms of insecurity in the sub-region, meets with 4 African leaders in Abuja. And former U.S. President Donald Trump says he expects to be arrested by a federal investigation into the January 6, 2021 riots at the Capitol.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's money supply climbs above 64 trillion naira in the month of June, and that's the highest level ever recorded in the country, according to latest reports coming from the central bank.
On sports news tonight, world champion Tobias Moshon continues her fine form in the women's 100 meters hurdles with another win at the Gula Istvan Memorial Meet in Hungary, clocking 12.35 seconds.
From Abuja, the nation's capital, Court of Appeal dismisses suit by the APC candidate in the 2023 Enugu State governorship election, challenging the victory of Governor Peter Mba of the PDP.
Many Nigerians may have to brace for more rough ride in the coming days in the face of yet another increase in the price of premium motor spirit, or PMS, or petrol. Across the country, the product now sells for between 568 to 700 naira per litre. From Kano to Kaduna, Lagos to Abuja, angry motorists are lamenting the increase, having been jolted with the 500 naira per litre hike some 2 months earlier. This report captures the mood across the country in the light of the latest price increase.
Nigerians may be facing tougher times in the coming days as there's yet another hike in pump price across the country. In Lagos, stations managed by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited are selling at 568 naira per litre.
What is going on in the country is that everybody has been involved. If there's corruption that is going on, everybody is partaking of it because the money will be revolving through the country. So in fact, people are putting their prices up. Now we are facing the reality. So the reality is done on all of us. So we should bear the brunt of what we have all enjoyed together.
I am really disappointed. I just saw these prices now, and I don't have a choice. I must move. On a weekly basis, I spend over 30,000 naira using my car just within, not traveling. It's unfair. I don't know where we are going. If we are going to buy at international market prices, do we earn international salaries?
In Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, fuel stations are closed in anticipation of the new pump price regime of 600 naira per litre, leaving residents and commuters frustrated.
It is not palatable for us. Even we've been running skater, moving up and down to look for fuel, and we couldn't get it. Like the filling station we are now, there's no fuel. People, the rate of inflation in the state now is not occurrence. It's unbearable.
In Edo State, motorists are also feeling the pinch as long queues can be seen at NNPC mega filling stations. The price is now pegged at 591 naira per litre in Benin City. In Kaduna State, some marketers have adjusted their price to 620 naira per litre, an action that has left motorists angered.
That boy just left me and started talking to one woman. Never know say they have raised the fuel price. To call his attention now was telling me it's 620 naira. Is it a new stock or old stock? We are using old stock. Look at the other vehicle there now, waiting for fuel to be what's wrong. But still they are saying 620, using the twinkle of an eye. Where are we heading to as Nigerians? Is there any justification in it? In less than 10 minutes, Somebody was here before me. He buy foil at the rate of 520, 540. Now they are selling difference of 800 naira. No, let the government realize that certain things are worsening. We cannot just fold the hand and start being behind. When last did they increase foil price? No subsidy, nothing. Now overnight they say 800, 620.
Independent marketers in Kano State are yet to adjust their pump price, as theirs is still pegged at 540 naira per litre. Even though the price is yet unchanged, fuel queues are said to be returning to petrol stations in the state. The situation is not any different in Taraba State, as residents are concerned about the price.
The situation is not only ridiculous, it is repulsive to human sensibility and sensitivity. It's an affront to our right as citizens. Fuel has just been increased not long ago to 550, and today we are witnessing 630. Do we have a government that have a heart, the people at heart? No. This is really unbearable for the average citizen.
In Jigawa State, stations managed by the NNPC are selling the pump price at 620 naira per litre. In the South region, the product is being sold at 591 naira per litre by independent marketers in Rivers State. It is barely 3 months since the president announced the removal of fuel subsidy, increasing pump price from 165 naira to 488 naira at the NNPC filling stations. Nigerians were yet recovering from that, and now this increase in pump price will affect everything else, from transportation to food prices. It is clear the road to economic recovery is perhaps a long way ahead.
Blame market forces for the increase in fuel price. The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Mr. Mele Kyari, has been explaining the reasons behind the latest jump in the pump price of petrol. He told State House correspondents after a private meeting with Vice President Kashim Shettima at the State House in Abuja that supply of the product is assured, and this will eventually drive down the pump price of PMS.
The details at this moment, we have marketing wing of our company. They adjust prices depending on the market realities, and this is really what it's about. This is the meaning of making sure that the market regulates itself, so that prices will go up, and sometimes they will come down also. And this is really what we are seeing. In reality, this is how the market works. There is no supply issue completely. It is not a supply. When you go to the market, you buy the product, you come to the market and sell it at its ongoing, its prevailing market price. Nothing to do with supply. We don't have supply issues. There are a robust supply. We have over 32 days of supply in country. That's not a problem. What I know is that the market forces will regulate the market. Prices will go down sometimes it will go up, but there will be stability of supply, and I'm also assuring Nigerians that this is the best way to go forward, so that we can adjust prices when market goes. I don't have the details this moment, but I know that our marketing wing acts just like every other company in this business. I know that a number of companies have imported petroleum products today, PMS. So many of them are online. I'm sure my colleague will confirm this. So market forces have started to play. People have started having confidence in the market, and the private sector people are now importing products. But there's no way they can recover their costs if they cannot take market reflective costs.
Staying with the petrol price hike, federal lawmakers have been reacting to the increase, calling for the setting up of more refineries in the country. However, some legislators have been defending the 70 billion naira in the 2022 supplementary budget by the National Assembly for the working conditions of lawmakers in the wake of criticisms from Nigerians following the appropriation. National Assembly correspondent Linda Kigwe reports.
I have some other things disturbing me as a senator, and that thing is the prevailing public ridicule I face because I'm being accused of having been part of sharing 70 billion.
A federal lawmaker venting his annoyance at the barrage of criticisms which have trailed the National Assembly's appropriation of 70 billion naira in the 2022 supplementary budget for the working conditions of federal lawmakers. But his observations were not taken because of the procedural errors in stating his case.
So, point of order is sustained.
The National Assembly's appropriation of 70 billion naira, ostensibly for infrastructure for legislators, has provoked criticism from several Nigerians who question the opaqueness around what exactly the funds are to be used for, as well as the timing considering the economic hardship caused by the removal of fuel subsidy. But some lawmakers argue that the National Assembly was not out of line in its actions.
Well, it's painful that they are coming in billions, but I can assure you, not a single senator will get an official car here. The cars are meant for committees. And then, see, I furnish my office myself. Is it my duty to do so? It's the duty of the Senate. When you are appointed a minister or you are appointed a judge, do you furnish your office yourself? This legislature is in this deficit of national resources.
On Thursday, July 13th, the Senate and House of Representatives amended the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act to allow the federal government source 500 billion naira for palliatives to cushion the effect of the removal of petrol subsidy. But on the heels of this approval, Nigerians woke up on Thursday morning to learn that the pump price of petrol was raised from 537 naira to 617 naira per litre.
I am co-signed. I believe everyone is co-signed. I believe Mr. President is co-signed. But we have to find a robust solution.
So it's very unfortunate, and I sympathize with Nigerians. But I want to tell you, Mr. President, that today is still early in the day for them to government to put in place a program to build new modular refineries. Even the existing ones, they should be able to do something for them to have skeletal production.
Nigerians will again have to adjust to the hike in petrol price and the associated increases in the prices of goods and services. Linda Kibi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Labour Congress, the NLC, has rejected the proposed palliative cash transfers of 8,000 naira to 12 million households by the federal government, describing it as a proposal that robs the poor to pay the rich. A statement signed by the NLC president, Mr. Joe Ajero, maintains that the federal government is treading the path of dictatorship and seeking to further impoverish the masses. On the fuel price increase, Mr. Ajero, who was a guest on our program, Politics Today, said Nigerians will decide the next step to take.
When we realize the position of government and what they have done over the years, that it has been a situation whereby when they increase, labor attacks them, they reduce maybe 15 naira. And then the next time they're going to increase, they increase with about 300 naira. This present NLC decided to look at alternative. And that was what led to the CNG agreement, which I told you about. That if we have the CNG agreement, that's my only regret today, that if we have the CNG agreement, already in place, as the independent marketers, petroleum marketers have volunteered their stations for conversion. If we had finished conversion of vehicles to use PMS, which I'm saying will cost less than 100 naira or thereabout, I will not bother if they are selling PMS for 3,000 a litre. It is now left from Nigerians who have options to decide whether to buy the option of CNG at 100 naira or to go and buy PMS at 800 or 1,000. So I think Nigerians should look at it while we're on standby, waiting for this action. Because whether there will be any clash, yes, or how and when it will start, Nigerians should determine in the next few days.
In response to the outcry, the president has ordered a review of the 8,000 naira conditional cash transfer program, which is to provide some relief for the most vulnerable households in the country. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Mr. Dele Alake, President Bola Tinubu also stated that the cash program is just one item among several within the relief package. The President also directed that the whole gamut of palliative package of government be unveiled to Nigerians. He also directed the immediate release of fertilizers and grains to approximately 50 million farmers and households, respectively, in all the 36 states and the FCT. President Tinubu assured Nigerians that the 500 billion naira approved by Parliament will be judiciously utilized. In part two, after the break, the Nigerian Navy ship NNS recovered some ammunition and intercepted more than 1,000 barrels of illegally refined petroleum products in Bayelsa State. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Channels Television. A reminder of our main stories. Nigerians groan as price of premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, rises beyond 600 naira per litre. NNPC Limited attributes increase to market forces. NLC rejects the proposed cash palliative for fuel subsidy removal, describes it as robbing the poor to pay the rich. Federal government to review cash transfer policy. The president's vows resolved by ECOWAS to raise the funds needed to fight terrorism and other forms of insecurity in the sub-region meets with 3 African leaders in Abuja. And former U.S. President Donald Trump says he expects to be arrested by a federal investigation into the January 6, 2021 riot at the Capitol. Staying with oil-related issues, in Bayelsa State, the Nigerian Navy ship NNS has recovered some ammunition and intercepted more than 1,000 barrels of illegally refined petroleum products. Commodore Olushina Ojabode, the commander of NNS told journalists in Yanigua that the wooden boat was laden with illegal petroleum products. The operations were carried out at Tedidaba, Furopa, and Ezetu.
The patrol team intercepted a speedboat which was carrying about not less than 6 armed men suspected to be sea robbers. These sea robbers, upon sighting on patrol, opened fire on own men and they responded. However, the sea robbers were met with superior firepower. After a hot pursuit and sustained fire, the criminals abandoned their boats and fled into the bushes around. On exploitation of the site, the patrol team recovered 2 AK-47 rifles, 6 AK-47 magazines, and 133 rounds of 7.62 millimeter special ammunition, which is meant for the AK-47 rifle. Also recovered were a speedboat, 1 small Techno mobile phone, 1 Baofeng walkie-talkie, and about 5,000 naira cash. It is also instructive to note that all these operations were carried out in line with the mandate of the Nigerian Navy and Operation Delta Save to stamp out crude oil theft, sea robbery, pipeline vandalism, and other unwholesome activities that have impacted negatively on maritime security and economic prosperity of the nation.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the non-payment of tax by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The House passed the resolution following a motion by Honorable Uduak Ududo stating that the Federation Account Allocation Committee had severally accused the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited of shortchanging it by refusing to pay over 2 trillion naira to the Federation account from crude sales, royalties, and taxes. Our correspondent Terry Kumi has details of this and more from the House of Representatives.
During Tuesday's plenary in the House of Representatives, the attention of the House was drawn to the need to investigate the non-remittance of due taxes by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited into the Federation account. Honorable Uduak Odudo, who moved the motion, was concerned that this has been a recurring decimal.
I stand here to adopt all the paragraphs of this motion and accordingly pray the House to resolve to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the non-remittance of revenues to the federal government account by the Nigerian Petroleum Company Limited and the accusation by the Federation Accounts and Allocation Committee.
Meanwhile, the burning of a vessel containing stolen crude oil in Delta State on the 11th of July also got the attention of the House as lawmakers expressed worry over the devastating effect on host communities. The House is further asking security agencies to desist from further setting ablaze vessels laden with stolen crude oil. In the meantime, the House received a petition and motion drawing the attention of members to the killing of a young boy by a stray bullet of officials of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Asaba Delta State. While one lawmaker through a motion urges the Inspector General of Police to take over the case, another through a petition from the father of the boy calls for justice.
I have a petition from Mr. Fidelis Omori from Delta State. I read. The Speaker, Federal House of Representatives, through Honorable Kelechi Nwogu, a petition on the gruesome killing of my son, 2-year-old Ivan Omori, and serious injuries on my second son, 1-year-old Irimosela Omori, by men of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in Asaba State, in Asaba, Delta State.
The House resolved to observe a minute silence for Ivan Onose Omorian and other victims who tragically lost their lives. 2. Urge the Inspector General of Police, IGP, to take over the investigation, prosecution of the officers in the shooting and killing of Ivan Onose Omorian.
A minute of silence was observed in his honor.
May the gentle soul of the departed rest in perfect peace.
Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
To the presidency, where the president has ordered an investigation into the killing of the 2-year-old boy Ivan Omorina during a raid by the NDLEA operatives in Okmanam, Delta State last week. In a statement, presidential spokesman Mr. Delia Lake notes that President Bola Tinubu has directed the NDLEA management to quickly conclude the investigation. According to him, quote, Ivan did not deserve to die that way. We must ensure the incident does not end like that, and that what happened to Ivan does not happen to any other person again. The president adds that the incident is unacceptable and those behind it must be unraveled and brought to justice. Meanwhile, the president has reaffirmed the resolve of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to raise the funds needed to fight terrorism and other forms of insecurity in the sub-region. President Bola Tinubu, who is the current ECOWAS chairman, stated this after a meeting with the presidents of Benin, Niger and Guinea-Bissau, where they reviewed the security and political transition in Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea. Our correspondent Larry Lassisi reports that President Tinubu also met with former President Goodluck Jonathan as well as some state governors.
One after the other, with just about a few minutes interval, the three presidents were driven into the presidential villa. The first to arrive was the president of Niger, followed by the president of the Republic of Benin and the president of Guinea-Bissau. They were each received by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is barely 24 hours after President Tinubu's return from the 5th Media Coordination Meeting of the African Union in Nairobi, Kenya. They went into a closed-door meeting, and over 3 hours later, the presidents conclude their meeting. According to the president of the ECOWAS Commission, who was part of the meeting, the leaders have reviewed the political and security situation in the sub-region of West Africa. Regarding the transition in Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea, a decision was taken to re-engage the three countries at the highest levels.
The leaders have reaffirmed their commitment to the expeditious transition to democracy in each of the three countries. The transition must be in accordance with ECOWAS protocols and in accordance with their individual transition charters.
On security, the leaders resolved to provide a robust response to any security threat in the region.
The regional response shall include the operationalization of the ECOWAS plan of action with the region's own troops and region's own financing.
President Tinubu emphasized the readiness of the region to raise the needed funds to fight insecurity in the region.
We have no problem raising funds, and we have all the instrumentalities to do that. So, concerning our design and engineering of our own finances, we believe we are capable of raising necessary funds to combat terrorism and insecurity in the region.
After the three presidents departed the presidential villa, President Tinubu also met with former President Goodluck Jonathan, who is the ECOWAS mediator in Mali.
And now that we're lucky, our president has been appointed as the chairperson of the authorities of heads of state and government of ECOWAS. In fact, I will be coming here almost every week, so Nigerians should not be surprised, because we have a lot of challenges in the sub-region, and those are the things we are discussing. We have the crisis in Mali, crisis in Guinea, crisis in Burkina Faso. I am really handling Mali, but still oversighting others.
President Tinubu has made clear his position on the need for Africa to overcome its challenges and work towards a prosperous future, focusing on good governance. Now, the resolutions taken here, when implemented successfully, may help to make that vision a reality. From the presidential villa, Lanre Lasese for Channels Television News.
So let's head to the nation's capital, where Linda Akigbe is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Ayotunde. We begin with the judiciary. The Court of Appeal Enugu Division today dismissed the suit filed by the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Mr. Uche Naji, in the 2023 governorship election in Enugu State. Mr. Uche Naji was challenging the victory of the governor, Peter Mba, of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the election. The decision of the three-man panel of the appellate court was delivered by Justice Olubunmi Oyewole. Naji, whose petition was initially dismissed by the Enugu State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal on June 20th, 2023, had contended that Mba was not constitutionally qualified to vie for the office of the governor in the election, having allegedly presented a forged certificate to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. But at the resumed hearing of the appeal today, the Court of Appeal upheld the decision of the tribunal and dismissed the suit accordingly and awarded the sum of 250,000 naira each against Chief Uche Naji and the APC. In another legal matter, the Federal High Court Abuja has declined to extend its interim order issued on July the 10th, 2023, stopping the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the Inspector General of Police, and Attorney General of the Federation from prosecuting the suspended Adamawa State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Udu Yunusa Ari. The court halted the trial pending the hearing and determination of a motion filed by the APC governorship candidate in Adamawa State, Senator Aishatu Dahiru, also known as Binani. INEC is seeking the prosecution of the suspended REC for illegally declaring Senator Binani as the winner of the governorship election on April 15, 2023. The court had ordered the parties involved in Binani's motion to maintain the status quo pending the determination of a substantive suit. The court also requested the defendants to appear before it on July 18th to show cause as to why they should not be permanently restrained from prosecuting the suspended Adamawa State REC. Now, during today's proceedings, INEC's counsel, Mr. Rotimi Jacobs, informed the court that the applicant had not served the defendants with the court's July 10th order. The trial judge, Justice Donatus Okorowo, adjourned the case till Monday, July 24th for hearing on the originating summons served on the defendants in court on Tuesday. Staying with legal matters, the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, has asked the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos to admit him to bail on self-recognition pending the hearing and determination of a charge filed against him by the federal government. The bail application, which was filed by his lead counsel, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Joseph Daudu, was brought pursuant to the relevant provisions of the Constitution, the Administration of the Criminal Justice Act of 2015, and inherent powers of the court. It's not yet certain when Mr. Emefiele will be arraigned on the 2-count charge of illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition, but Channels Television gathered that there are indications that it will be sometime during the annual vacation of the court, which commences on Monday, July 24th. Away from the courts, the First Lady, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, has extolled the virtues of former First Lady Mariam Babangida in the advancement of the rights and well-being of Nigerian women through her pet project, the Better Life for Rural Women program. Mrs. Tinubu made a commendation at an event to officially rename the National Women's Development Center as the Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development. She also used the occasion for the induction of the first set of women achievers into the Nigerian Women Hall of Fame. Our correspondent Victoria Longjohn reports.
31 years ago, the then First Lady of Nigeria, Mariam Babangida, established the National Center for Women Development. Its purpose? To improve the lives of women, especially those in the rural areas, through skill acquisition and entrepreneurial training to help them become more productive and self-reliant. Tuesday, July the 18th, 2023, in the historic event, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, wife of Nigeria's president, renamed this center after Mariam Babangida in recognition of the impact of her projects on women, particularly those in rural areas. The event was attended by wives of governors, female legislators in the National Assembly, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Women Affairs, and other dignitaries. Part of celebrations was also the induction of some Nigerian women who have distinguished themselves in different endeavors into the Nigeria Women Hall of Fame. Mrs. Tinubu praised the phenomenal contributions of late Mrs. Mariam Babangida to women development. She also commended the new inductees for their exceptional feats.
This center being renamed today has reinforced my belief in the need for us as a people to celebrate the contributions of the matriarchs of our land, especially in nation building. As I believe that Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development carries a profound message of inspiration and aspiration for Nigerian women. Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Babangida's legacy as a passionate advocate for women's rights serves as a constant reminder of what can be achieved when society invests in women's development.
For these inductees, the recognition is an inspiration to all women in leadership positions to do more for Nigerian women that will be recorded by history.
The legacy, the reflections of Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development is the spirit of I can do, the spirit that every Nigerian woman has. And I think we should live on this spirit every day of our lives.
If the achievements of late Dr. Mariam Babangida was not properly documented, for instance, if you go around, you see the list of all those who contributed money when this center was built. The list is still there. So it tells us that we need to start documenting ourselves, women.
The Nigeria Women Hall of Fame specifically recognizes Nigerian women who have excelled in their chosen careers. It also provides role models for younger girls and the society at large on the ultimate potential of women in the Nigerian society. Victoria Longjohn, Channels Television News.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Ayotunde.
Many thanks, Linda. Gunmen have reportedly attacked the divisional police station in Isiuzo, local government area of Enugu State, carting away arms and ammunition. Sources say that the station came under attack in the early hours of today. Although no police officer was killed during the attack, one officer was said to have been shot and is currently receiving treatment. Residents claim the assailants stormed the police station in a Toyota Sienna bus, shooting sporadically. The Enugu State Command Public Relations Officer, Daniel Ndukwe, told Channels Television that he needs time to confirm the attack. In River State, the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has raised an alarm over the possible emergence of militia men in Degema local government area of River State. Governor Fubara raised the alarm when the new General Officer commanding 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdul Salam, led other senior officers to visit him at Government House in Port Harcourt. He says the matter is made worse as the men are occupying what seems to be an abandoned military base in the locality.
There is a camp somewhere in Degema, somewhere. It is a base, a military base, and people parade arms around there. I want to ask, is it that our law has allowed individuals to start showcasing AK-47 or 48, whatever they call it? I'm not used to it. Has our law gotten to that point that people can brandish arm before military people and you don't do anything about it? I really want you to look into that. It's an insult to the states and also insult to the federal government of Nigeria. You need to work on that. I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe you people have a reason for it, but look into it. But also see what you can do about this issue of security in the LLA access. You have a base there, and we're always having complaints from people outside the state coming from that angle or that axis to cause problem. And so please, I would like you people to see what you can do. It's your area.
Meanwhile, former Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, has expressed his desire for President Bola Tinubu to enjoy supernatural wisdom to manage the affairs of the country. He says Nigeria is a complex country that requires the deliberate effort of the leaders to ensure that it remains united and prosperous. Mr. Wike stated this when members of the Inter-Party Advisory Council visited him in Port Harcourt to appreciate his effort in ensuring a smooth transition of power.
I will not be a party where arrogance and impunity is the order of the day. I will not accept that. What I'm interested in is for the unity of the country, for Nigeria to continue to be one. And that was one of us who are in PDP, stood firm and said, look, the only way we can believe that we're all together is when this part of this country presides over the affairs of the country. It's also good enough for the other part of the country to also preside over the affairs of the country. I have no regrets whatsoever. I have no regrets whatsoever that I took the decision I took because I want a united Nigeria. I don't want a disintegrated Nigeria. And that is why we wish the president good luck. We believe that God is infinite mercy, who has given him the mantle of leadership, should also give him that wisdom, the strength and health to continue to pilot the affairs of the country.
Optimizing blue-collar employee welfare is one way of increasing productivity among low-wage workers. That's part of the highlight at an interaction among heads of Human Resources Department and representatives of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is partnering with Seamless HR to improve the welfare of workers by increasing their access to finance.
Heads of Human Resources Department of various national and multinational companies across Nigeria converging on Lagos on the invitation of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The foundation, in partnership with Seamless HR, Africa's leading HR and payroll software company, is engaging the HR chiefs to improve the welfare of their blue-collar employees.
What we are trying to do at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is partner with organizations where we can provide visibility into the lives of hardworking Nigerians so that they can have access to formal financial services in a way, as Dapo was referring to, that is not a loan shark that puts them into a further cycle of poverty.
The local technology company is introducing one of its multifaceted HR solutions, which it's confident will help businesses in a emerging market become more productive.
We now have activity in East Africa. We have an office in Nairobi that covers Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Kenya. We also have some activity now in Southern Africa with a good number of customers in Botswana and also doing work there. But of course, Nigeria and an office in Ghana as well.
The keynote speaker for this conference underscores the benefit of improved workers' welfare.
We often think of financial inclusion as people that are living day to day or people that do not have jobs. But as we have said, there are many people that fall into the category of working poor, so we need to support that.
Yes, it's a win-win for everyone on the table. Win-win for the employees because they have emergencies, they don't need to go borrowing, they don't need to beg. Also, it's a win-win for the employers because if the employee is doing well mentally, they are able to put in their best.
As a technology partner for this, we want to provide the means for businesses to keep their people engaged, productive, producing, and successful.
Some of the HR chiefs consider this initiative as a way to go.
For my organization, it is a good deal. It's a good deal, and every manufacturing or any other industry at all should be able to onboard on this and be able to deploy it for their people generally.
Seamless HR says this phase of the project is to help maximize the benefit of the workforce of the over 20 million salaries it targets to manage over the next 5 years and promises it is in the business of workers' welfare improvement for the long haul.
All right, let's get the very latest in the world of business with Anne Waldo.
Thank you, Ayotunde. Hello and welcome to Business News. Nigeria's money supply, that's the total amount of money available in the economy, has increased to 64.3 trillion naira in the month of June, and that's according to latest reports coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria. That fresh data, which is contained in the CBN's Money and Credit Statistics page on its website, is the highest amount of currency in circulation ever recorded in the country when compared to 55.5 trillion naira level recorded in the month of May. While economic analysts have raised concerns that the expansion of money supply could further drive inflation higher and reduce purchasing power of Nigerians. Meanwhile, Nigeria's central bank says that it has signed financial technology collaboration agreements with the Central Bank of Egypt. The signing ceremony took place during the just concluded Seamless North Africa 2023 conference at the Egypt International Exhibition Center, which is the country's capital in Cairo. The CBN's deputy governor in the Financial System Stability Directorate, Aisha Ahmed, has signed on behalf of Nigeria's central bank. She says the financial market regulator commended the partnership, which is coming after several months of engagement on payments, fintech, and financial inclusion. On his part, the Deputy Governor of Egypt's Central Bank, Rami, also expressed optimism that the fintech partnership between both central banks will yield positive results. And the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, says that it generated a total revenue of 191.43 billion naira from its operations in the first half of this year. This disclosure was contained in a half-year performance reports for the year, which was released by the NPA Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Mohammed Bello Koko. He explains that the NPA remitted 55.71 billion naira into the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation within the period under review. Let's head to the equities market. It extended Monday's positive sentiments. Bargain buying in Dangote Cement and 48 other gainers lifted the all-share index back above 63,000 points. Laddie Williams has the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Big move there. The bulls wasted no time, showing up again today with an impressive 1.31% advance, taking the all-share index 63,766 points, almost getting to that 64K level. Market cap 34.72 trillion. Let's look at the activity chart now. We see it's we've got less volume now, 868 million units of stocks, but with big value, 42.8 billion, about 200% increase there for the value today compared to yesterday. Deals also about 8,970 for the deals. Let's look at the sectoral performance. Oil and gas there, over 0.5%, up 0.56%, thanks to Eterna and ONO. They're adding to their share prices there, but banking pulling back from yesterday's gain about 7%. Yesterday's down 0.17%. Consumer goods also up 0.66%. You see the market breadth today, 50 gainers against 20 decliners, with Dangote Cement pulling market up today. So that's stock market report. That's how your money performed today. I'm Ladi Williams. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you for watching Business News Tonight. I'm Anne Mwawadu. Ayotune will be back with the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you so much, Anne. The World Meteorological Organization says the heat wave engulfing the northern hemisphere is set to intensify this week, causing overnight temperatures to surge and leading to an increased risk of heart attacks and even deaths. The WMO warns that the heat wave is in its early phases, saying that expected temperatures in North America, Asia, North Africa and the Mediterranean to be above 40 degrees Celsius for a prolonged number of days this week as the heat wave intensifies. This could mean midnight temperatures hovering in the high 30s in some areas this week. Here's Simon Pewes with more on this and other international stories in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Former US President Donald Trump has said he expects to be arrested by a federal investigation into the 6th of January 2021 riots at the Capitol and efforts to challenge the results of the 2020 election. In a social media post, he said he was informed by Special Counsel Jack Smith on Sunday night that he is a target of their inquiry. Mr. Trump posted that he was told to report to a grand jury, which he said almost always means an arrest and indictment. A heatwave is continuing across southern Europe, with temperatures in the central Mediterranean peaking today. There are warnings extreme heat could continue for a further 10 days in parts of Italy. Spain has also faced consecutive heat waves, with temperatures yesterday reaching 44 degrees Celsius. There have been wildfires on the Spanish island of La Palma and in mainland Greece. Planes here dropping water on fires near Athens. Meanwhile, Swiss firefighters battled flames that forced more than 200 people to evacuate as the authorities warned that the blaze could spread further. There are reports that a US soldier is being held in North Korea after crossing the border without authorization. A US official said the soldier was being escorted back to the US for disciplinary reasons, but after going through airport security, they somehow returned and joined a tour at the border. The demilitarized zone, which separates the two Koreas and its border, is one of the most heavily fortified areas in the world. Typhoon Talim has lashed southeastern China and displaced 230,000 people, as large swathes of Asia reel from torrential rain and extreme heat. It's also disrupted flights and shut fishing villages and coastal tourist spots, but it has weakened on its way to Vietnam. Drone footage shows Israeli protesters flocking the streets surrounding Israel's main labor unions building in Tel Aviv as part of a national day of resistance. It comes as legislators prepared to ratify one of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's disputed judicial bills before Parliament goes on summer recess. Thousands poured onto the streets in rallies across the country. The 26 Commonwealth Games are in doubt after the Australian state of Victoria cancelled its plans to host. The Commonwealth Games Federation has struggled to find a host before Victoria volunteered in April 2022, but the Premier said the projected cost had now tripled and become well and truly too much for the state to bear.
What's become clear is that the cost of hosting these games in 2026 is not the $2.6 billion which was budgeted and allocated and is sitting, vast majority of which has not been spent. It's not $2.6 billion, it is in fact at least $6 billion and could be as high as $7 billion. And I cannot stand here and say to you that I have any confidence that that even $7 billion number would appropriately and adequately fund these games. In terms of where we go to from here, the games will not proceed in Victoria in 2026. We have informed Commonwealth Games authorities of our decision to seek to terminate the contract, and to not host the games.
A barge which will house asylum seekers has arrived in its final destination on England's southern coast as part of efforts to reduce the use of costly hotels as temporary accommodation. The vessel will be berthed in Portland Port in Dorset and will accommodate 500 single adult males. And a group of British skydivers have set a new record over the skies of Nottinghamshire by linking together in formations while free-falling through the air. Footage shows 41 divers creating the largest ever sequential formation to ever take place in the UK. The skydivers set the record by making consecutive patterns during their descent while falling at speeds of over 120 miles per hour. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Many thanks, Simon. It's time now for the sports news with Jeffrey Uzono.
Thanks, Ayotunde. It's time for Sports. World and Commonwealth Games champion Tobi Amusan has continued with her fine form this season with another win at the Gyula Istvan Memorial Meet in Hungary. Amusan clocked 12.35 seconds in the women's 100 meters barely 2 days after winning the 100 meters hurdles at the Silesia Diamond League in Poland, beating America's duo of Nia Ali and Lele Johnson, who came second and third. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Ese Brume also did put up an impressive showing in the women's long jump at the same event in Hungary. The World Championship silver medalist Brume put up a decent jump, finishing second with a mark of 6.69 meters next to Serbia's Milica Gadakovic, who won the event with 6.80 meters. Well, it's down to business for America's number 10, as now known in that league, Lionel Messi, with his new Inter Miami teammate as he took part in his first full training session with the Major League Soccer club. The Argentine World Cup winner took to the club's training field with temperatures already above 30 degrees Celsius. Inter Miami's training session had barely attracted double figure attending from the media prior to Messi's arrival. That's it on sports. I'm Jeffrey Uzono. Ayotunde is back to you.
Many thanks, Jeffrey. And the main news again. The price of premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, rose beyond 600 naira per litre nationwide today as Nigerians groaned under the weight of the new price regime. The NNPC Limited attributed the increase to market forces. And the NLC has rejected the proposed cash palliative for fuel subsidy removal. The president of the NLC, Mr. Joe Ejero, described the initiative as robbing the poor to pay the rich. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has ordered a review of the conditional cash transfer policy of the federal government. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Do have a good night.